Sorry, what was that?
Phantoms, death and strange noises await the team in the West Midlands. Hello and welcome to Most Haunted. This building has almost 800 years of history. Many people have lived, laughed and cried here. It is said that the spirits of many of them still remain. With dark figures, unexplained power cuts and strange voices, we had to investigate the Manor House restaurant. The Manor of West Bromwich is listed in the Domesday Book under the possessions of William Fitz-Ansculf, the Baron of Dudley. The manor house was constructed in the late 13th century and has had many residents. It was passed through the heirs of William until 1713, where it was put up for sale due to financial difficulties. Eventually, it fell into a state of disrepair in 1823. In 1836, it was converted into tenements where 3 families lived until the 1880s. These flats concealed the manor house. It was rediscovered whilst under demolition in the 1950s. The manor house has been restored and is now a restaurant.
Imagine what it must feel like when you're in a room and you hear your own name called out. You turn round and there's nobody there. Well, that's exactly what happens in this room, the main bar area. Tonight, we're going to conduct a séance and hopefully contact some of the spirits that roam the manor restaurant.
This is the old original manor house of the village of West Bromwich. It's a unique medieval hall house going back to about 1290. So we're talking of over 800 years of habitation on this site. In fact, 800 years of habitation in this building as it is now. But the strange thing about it is that there are plenty of people that have been here, that have visited the place, that have had paranormal experiences. There isn't an awful lot documented about it.
I've experienced feelings round by the bar area, particularly round by the fireplace, and I've heard footsteps above the area of the bar where the fireplace is, and the opposite end of the bar as well, quite heavy footsteps running.
The chapel is now part of the restaurant, and on many occasions lights turn themselves on and off for no apparent reason. Also, a figure of a bearded man has been seen staring out of the windows.
This building for many, many years was totally derelict, but it's now been taken back to its original medieval glory. Renovation, of course, demolition, building work disturbs ghosts, which I think is one of the reasons that things had been seen in the 1960s and the 1970s when it was being done.
This room has recently been opened up, when previously, for many years, it was sealed. Could it be that the present owners have unleashed some kind of paranormal activity, as the spirit of a young girl has been seen, and also an angry presence has been felt?
I've had my name called, footsteps, voices, and the main one, I was working behind the bar the one day, didn't see anybody coming but knew somebody was there, and shouted out, "Are you all right, can I help you?" And as I walked up, they walked off and walked through the fireplace, and all I can remember is a long black jacket. Can't remember anything else, no head, no feet, that's all I can remember.
There's another interesting thing. They have a toilet ghost in the ladies' toilets, seen on many occasions by people, children, a medieval person seen in one of the cubicles. And although people laugh about toilet ghosts, it's surprising how many paranormal occurrences do take place in the toilets.
I think it could be quite a busy night, certainly from my point of view, of sensing things. Whether, of course, we can get them to actually activate will be a completely different thing. I hope we can. There certainly seems to be a lot of presences around, inside and indeed outside the building.
There doesn't seem to be any reports of anything terrible happening that we know of. But I do believe that it's got secrets that it may well unleash tonight.
I do believe this place is haunted. There's no doubt. Not in my mind, anyway.
The baseline test was completed by our paranormal investigator, Phil Wyman. A trigger object was set and a dictaphone was placed in one of the most active rooms. This all looked promising, but did Phil think we were in for a good night?
The main activity here tends to focus on visual apparitions and figures. Those figures include a man with a black beard looking forlornly out the windows here, and also that of a grandmother-type figure who's been described as being in her 80s and is seen mainly by children. Now, this might sound strange, but one of the main places of activity is the ladies' toilets, where figures have been seen, and also children, again, mainly report seeing black shoes poking out from underneath the cubicles. Now, we have to remember that when this building was originally built, that wouldn't have been a toilet at all. Another area of the location that has seen quite a lot of activity is the restaurant area. Now, this used to be part of a chapel, and it's going to be where I'm going to be setting up my cross trigger object for tonight. I'm pretty hopeful that we're going to get something on camera tonight, but who knows, we can never tell.
During the day, the Manor House is a busy restaurant that didn't feel creepy or unusual in any way. Would the atmosphere change as night fell? I had invited medium Derek Acorah to join the crew for the rest of the night, in hopes that he would make contact with any supposed spirits that roam this old building. We were all looking forward to the night ahead, but would all that change as we began our investigation at the Manor House restaurant?
Mentally, I'm getting like, as we come into the energy here, as if I've got like, as strange as it may sound, a dual impressions. And I know one would, why we're getting it here, I don't know, but a little bit earlier I got it again. I'll quickly tell you the first impressions. And that was of, there was a sickly feeling that started to build up from within with me. And this feeling of heat. And it seems that the heat was getting stronger around me and stronger, and I felt as if I was in a useless situation. And quite honestly, I just felt as if I had flames just coming all around me, engulfing me. We may, as we go through the night on the investigation, find out why the connection is, where we will finally land to get those impressions. But, you know, if we went a little... You know, there's a little girl that runs around here. A little girl. And this little girl, she doesn't stay put in one place. She runs and what have you. But I feel with this little girl, for some reason, as if her impressions are coming to me as if I'm just doing this. Now, these windows here, now my attention is drawn not to so much the window, but I feel as if this little one is just barely tall enough to look out of a window and look down.
What does she look like?
This is a light-haired girl. I feel that she would be probably 3, 4, 5, in between that age. Very pretty little thing. And I feel that she would have lost her life around that period of time due to... what's that, Sam? What? OK, that wasn't an illness. OK, to smoke inhalation through a fire.
So that's why you're picking up fire. And when you said this time, what time do you mean?
Oh, gosh, when's that, Sam? I feel as we get closer to the area where there's a very small window, and below that, lower down, where I feel that the fire, that's where I'm drawn to, will we be able to connect the two?
OK.
And the little girl, oh, look, you see, I'm getting quite an elderly woman. Strong set woman, but elderly. And it seems as if like she's, oh God, look at that. Okay. There's a pushing.
What, she's pushed?
I feel there's a pushing into flames.
And she pushed the little girl into the flames?
Yeah, but she also was in the flames as well.
Right.
They both lost their lives in the flames.
You say an elderly woman, how old would you say she was?
to me, she'd be